On today's Town Hall, we have shout-outs, important upcoming dates and reminders about the weekly portfolio tasks and attendance, and we're going to have breakout sessions for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students about the high school application process and what you should be doing now to prepare for it. Shout out to Ms. Oliveri for recording the videos for this week's Town Hall sessions. Thank you, and shout out to all of you students who have completed both your MyOn and iReady assessments. You rock! We want to wish a very happy birthday this week to Nazib Amin, Jordan Burden, Sienna Collins, Jessica Gale, Ashton Henderson, and Dolta Schuler. Happy birthday, everyone. Some important upcoming dates to remind you about. The Blended Learning opt-in window opens on November 2nd. You can find the information for that on our website and on the DOE's website. Election Day is next Tuesday, November 3rd. That is a fully remote day for all students, so Group B students, you will not report to the building next Tuesday. Everyone is expected to engage in their work online on that day. Students, you'll be assigned a Math Matters assessment to take by your math teachers. More information on how to do that work will be on your Math Google Classroom pages, but everyone is expected to get that assessment done on Tuesday, November 3rd. The marking period closes Friday, November 6th. Veterans Day. There is no school on Wednesday, November 11th in honor of Veterans Day. The Blended Learning opt-in window closes on November 15th, and parent-teacher conferences will be held virtually on Thursday, November 18th. We have a system for parents to sign up for virtual appointments with each teacher. We'll be talking about that in a coming town hall. So a reminder that all families, whether you are in blended or fully remote learning, should be completing the Blue Card, the COVID-19 testing forms, the media release form, and lunch form. The Blue Card, the testing forms, and the media release form can be completed online via Operoo. If you need your login information for Operoo, it was emailed to the email we have on file, but you can also call the main office, or you can contact Ms. Petrata in the main office, Jen Petrata, JPETROTTA at brooklynsea.org, and they'll get you set up. Lunch forms can be completed online. All of those links are on our website. All right, so I want to talk briefly about attendance. We know that in the past, in the spring, you guys could basically do any sort of interaction and it counted as attendance. They were calling it interaction and not attendance. But that policy has changed and there's still some confusion around this. So let me hopefully clarify some of this. So in the spring, you could communicate with teachers, your parents could communicate with teachers, you could turn in work, you could join the live meets, you could do the attendance form, you could submit work at 2 a.m. or 8 a.m. or 8 p.m., and all of that counted for attendance. It does not count for attendance anymore. It doesn't work like that. So because we are having regular school days and you have pretty much full instructional programs on whether you're remote or in person, you need to be present during that time. Attendance is being present. So if your teachers are hosting live meets or Zooms, which everybody has live meets and Zooms every single day, you should be attending those. We know that the beginning 20 minutes of each period is when teachers are hosting those meets and those Zooms, so you need to be on at the start of every period. So if you are following your schedule, you should see that, okay, I have ELA first period, then I need to go to my ELA Google Classroom, and there's a link posted for that meet or that Zoom there. They might also post other links. I know teachers using other programs, Nearpod, other things. Okay, so you need to make sure that you are in all of those. When teachers are taking attendance, whether they do it verbally, whether they do it by you writing in the chat, they post a question, you need to make sure that you are answering that question or you're engaging in that. We have a lot of students that are saying that they are joining meets, but they're not being counted as present. It might be because they missed the beginning of the meet. Okay, they only came in for 3 minutes in the middle of it. That happens. Okay, you won't get credit for the attendance if you come in for 3 minutes in the middle of it, because the teachers aren't taking attendance constantly throughout the entire time. Okay, so please make sure that you are following your schedule, that you follow the bell schedule, which has the synchronous time. That's the time that teachers are live on it. Okay, if you have questions about that, please do reach out. We do have another video Ms. D put together in a previous town hall that you can access on our YouTube channel or on the website if you want to see the schedule walk through. But please please log into your Meets and your Zooms, because teachers are taking attendance every single period that they have live instruction. We are also asking you to complete the attendance form. It is posted in your class of 2021, 2022, or 2023 Google Classroom every single morning. It's posted as an assignment. Most of you are completing that every day, so thank you for doing that. Please continue to do so. This attendance form is not a, okay, I'm filling out this form and I'm good for the day, so I don't have to do anything else. Okay, that's not how this works. It's a backup. All right, so if you are logging into Meets, sometimes we miss things. Sometimes, you know, if you log in after the attendance is taken, but you were still there for 20 minutes, we can miss that. All right, so this attendance form serves as a backup to let us know that you were present in that day, okay, but it is not where we go to first. All right, so your attendance is based off of you attending your classes. If you're not attending your classes, you're not going to know what to do on those weekly benchmark tasks, and you're not going to do well, and you're not going to earn the grade that you should be earning, or that you would expect to earn, or that your parents would expect you to earn. So please make sure that you are on for that live instruction so you know what's going on every single day. Regarding the attendance form, I just want to show you really quickly. This is what's posted in your Google Classroom every day. Okay, there's a drop-down menu. You choose your name. There's a drop-down menu for your class. You choose your class. It does record your email. Okay, so you can't submit attendance for somebody else. All right, so please make sure that you are doing what you are supposed to be doing, okay, and doing your attendance every single day. Thank you. The other thing I wanted to speak about was our assessments. Okay. You've already been assigned 3 assessments. There's an iReady ELA, an iReady Math, and a MyOn Reader assessment. Okay, those are assessments. They don't impact your grade, but they do impact your instruction, and they're how we monitor our progress and we adjust things in our building. So it is very important that you, one, make sure that you complete them, and you complete them in a timely fashion. If you have started the iReady test or the MyOn test and you haven't finished it, it will reset and you'll have to start over from the beginning, so you need to finish it. If you are assigned these things, you need to make sure they are done by the due date. You're given plenty of time. There's a huge window for them. Okay, but some of you have not even started them. All of your iReady and MyOn Reader information was emailed to you at the beginning of the month, so you need to make sure that you are completing these. If you have questions, you can reach out to any one of your teachers or your crew teacher or me, and we can make sure that you get your correct login information. It's very important that you take these assessments seriously. I know it's hard sometimes when you're working on a computer to not just click the buttons and choose answers, okay, but that's not going to give you valid test results. It's also not going to give you valid test results if somebody else is helping you, or if you're looking up answers to things somehow, which you shouldn't be able to do on either iReady or MyOn. But okay, please make sure that you are doing the assessments ethically, you're doing them to the best of your ability, because those assessments don't impact your grade. They do impact how we adjust our instruction. Okay, so it's very, very important that you do well on them. Not that you do well, but you do your best on them, rather. Math Matters. The Math Matters assessment is the same thing. Okay, that's going to determine how you get reteach material, what things you get focused on. That's going to be administered next Tuesday, the first one. So please make sure that you are doing your best on that and you're completing it on time. Your math teachers will be posting that, and you'll have time to do it during that day. So please make sure it's done. The last thing we want to talk about is the weekly benchmark tasks. These are the portfolio tasks that your teachers are posting every single week. You have an entire block of time on Fridays to work on these tasks, so you should be able to get them done. If you don't get them done within that block of time, you do need to finish them, okay, before Monday, so that way your teachers can make sure that they are graded, you can get feedback, and they can adjust their instruction accordingly. And the weekly benchmark tasks are what your grades are based on. More on that, we're going to go to Ms. D.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope everyone's having a great day so far. I'm here to talk to you all today about our weekly portfolio tasks. Those weekly portfolio tasks are how you are getting a grade. So please make sure that you are completing those tasks. I want to show you how you can find them. So if you go to our website, www.brooklynsea.org, you will be able to find our weekly portfolio tasks. Plus, your teachers are talking to you about them in class. So if you go to our website and you look here at the top, you'll see 2020 school year. If you are a student who's in blended learning, this tab relates to you. If you're a student in remote learning, this tab relates to you. So you can click either one of them because students who are in blended and or remote all have the same tasks that they need to complete. So if you scroll to the bottom and you click weekly portfolio tasks, you will be able to see each class and each grade. So if you're in seventh grade art, your weekly portfolio tasks are listed here. You need to complete those tasks because your teachers are generating a grade for you for each trimester based on how you do on these tasks. So you need to show up to your classes, you need to complete the work, but make sure that these weekly portfolio tasks are completed because that's how you're getting your score. There's going to be no mystery on where scores come from. So if you're in eighth grade ELA, you would click on the eighth grade ELA tab and you would look and see here are all of the portfolio tasks that you would need to do. It's very important you get them done. If you have a question, if you're not sure if you've completed these tasks, please, please, please talk to your teacher. Your teacher will know if you've completed them, if you need to redo it for any reason. Do not just let the time pass. Take an active role, take charge of your education, and check out the weekly portfolio tasks. You can look in Google Classroom as well to see if you've done them. Guys, have a great day. Do not hesitate to reach out to us if you need anything at all, and stay in communication with your teachers. Have a good one.
So one of the big questions that we have this year that families have had that we've been asking is about high school and what the application process is going to look like this year. We know that there was no state test in the spring for students that were in 7th grade who are now 8th graders. And even grades, we had grade codes in the spring. We didn't have grade point averages in the spring. So the general overall high school application process is going to have to look different. We have a lot of questions about what that means and what that looks like. But we don't have a lot of answers yet from the city either. So thank you for being patient, and as soon as we get any more information, we will share it with you. For now, we have some tailored breakout sessions provided by Ms. Oliveri, our guidance counselor, for 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade students on the high school application process in general, what it normally looks like, and just things that you should be considering, even though we have a lot of questions right now. So thank you, Ms. Oliveri.
Hello everyone, my name is Miss Oliveri and I'm from Brooklyn Science and Engineering Academy. Wanted to speak with you a little bit more about how we can get ready for 7th grade for high school. Now, a lot of times a lot of people ask, well, we're only in the 7th grade, we in the middle of middle school, what does that mean? Basically, it means that we are preparing you for your admission process because even though you're in the 7th grade and you apply to high schools in the 8th grade, they look at your 7th grade scores. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about 7th grade and the high school admission process and what does that mean for you. Okay. So some of the things we're going to cover: high school admissions, overview, timeline, what are specialized high schools, the high school directory and the admission guide itself, how to explore schools and programs, creating an account online. You're going to do more of that in the 8th grade, and what your welcome letters are. So English language learners. English language learners are students who are new to the country or have been in the country for a couple of years and receive certain services to become acclimated to the English language. All high schools provide English language learner services for all students. There are 3 different types of L delivery models offered in New York City, and that depends on where you're at in your language acquisition. L students are eligible for supports and accommodations on admission-related tests and auditions. So if you are getting services, L services, you will be entitled to extra time, a dictionary, depending on where you are in that stage. Additionally, there are schools and programs who are designed around L status, and those programs admit students according to their home language, the number of years in the country, or their English proficiency. Students with disabilities. Students with IEPs can apply to any high school in New York City, and all high schools must be able to provide services for students. On each page, you can find each program's SWDC availability based on their last year and the school's accessibility category. Accessibility is more or less of, do you need an elevator? Is there a ramp? So some schools might be partially accessible, where they may not have an elevator, and other schools are fully accessible. They have an elevator, they have a ramp, different, needs. Okay, high school admission seats. So when you're looking in the admission guide, you're going to see a slot for general education seats and a slot for SWD seats. General education seats are where your children with non-IEPs are going to be applying to. It is also for students who receive special education services for 20% or less on their IEP. So we might see someone who's has a special education teacher support service for a number of periods, but does not make up 20% of their program. Students with disabilities will be categorized for students who receive special education for more than 20% of their academic program. Kids who are full-time integrated co-teaching classes, special classes like a 12-to-1, the 12-to-1-to-1, those are going to fall with the SWD seats. So how do you participate in high school admissions? So there are two paths. The red one is you're required, everyone has to submit a high school application. And then your optional specialized high schools. We're going to talk right now a little bit about what the red required admission process is, that you have 700 programs to out of over 400 different high schools. Early fall, typically you'll start your round one application. You complete your application by using 12 programs in the order that you like them. In March, you get one offer. Now, specialized high schools is optional. Specialized high schools are your Stuyvesant, your Brooklyn Latin, your Bronx Science. What you have to do for that is you actually have to take a test. That test is called the Shazat Test. It stands for Specialized High School Admission Test, Shazat. So what you do early in the fall is you register with me, your school counselor, you get your test, you take your test later on, and then you get your audition ticket from your school counselor. You take the test, or you go for audition, or you do both. And then once you pass the test, you get one offer, or if you audition, you could get up to 6 different offers. Now, you cannot just do the blue alone. You have to do the blue and the red, or just the red. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what that means too. So these are the list of the specialized high schools, okay? In the Bronx, you have Bronx Hall of Science, High School for American Studies at Lehman. Brooklyn, your Brooklyn Latin, your Brooklyn Technical. Manhattan, you have Stuyvesant, High School for Math, Science, and Engineering at City College. Queens, your Queens High School for Sciences at York. And Staten Island, you have your Staten Island Technical. Now, another specialized high school that is not test, but you do have to audition for, is LaGuardia High School. How do you prepare for the Shazat Test? Okay, so you're going to be going to get your admission booklet later on in the year. In that book, there's practice tests for you to study and take the Shazat Test. All that information is typically located in that book as well. You get to know the specialized high schools, what their requirements are, what they're known for. And this is how pretty much we're going to get into now how the tests work. The test is 180 minutes, no breaks. So that's 3 hours without a break. You're in the room taking the test. Students who have accommodations, Ls, or students with disabilities can get an extended time accommodation. That means your test is going to be 360 minutes with 2 15-minute breaks. You put your final answers on the answer sheet, not the test booklet. And on that day, you would put your application in to the schools of your choice. And then if you're interested in preparing for an audition to LaGuardia, you have to practice. Now is the time for you to start practicing. Auditions are different for each studio. There's vocal, there's instrumental music, and you could apply to all of those, but you have to do an audition for each studio that you are applying to. In that book, the admission guide, you will find audition dates and times. You will find English language learners and all that information that you will need for you for L's and SWDs on there as well. What happens after you audition for LaGuardia? Okay, so LaGuardia staff evaluates how you do for each studio. They look at your school record, how you're doing in 7th grade. That's why it's so important. And while you're there waiting for your audition, they're going to ask you to complete a writing response. And that you'll do when you're waiting for them before your audition. After you take the specialized high school test, now friends, these are for the schools like Brooklyn Tech, Brooklyn Latin, Stuyvesant, okay? You're going to take that test. Your offer is going to be determined by how well you do on that test and what school you put as number 1. So pretty much the way it works is, let's say you put Brooklyn Tech as your number 1 choice and they only have 300 seats. They're going to take the top 300 people who listed them as number 1 and the top 300 people who did the best on that test. That's pretty much how it works. It's on a ranking system. They do not look at your test scores, your grades, or your attendance for high school. If you want to know a little bit more, you can contact me and I will put you in contact with the video on the DOE so you can learn a little bit more specific about how the Shazat test works. Okay. We're going to back up here. I don't know what happened. Okay. So round 1 is about 700 programs in 400 schools. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about your regular New York City, that red column that you have to submit. Okay, you can look at programs in myschools.nyc. You could use the book that you'll be getting later on in the year. And right now what you need to be doing is choosing 20 to 30 programs that interest you. Now, friends, you can also have about 5 different programs in one school. Remember, you're applying to the program, not the school. Okay, and as it goes on, you have conversations from your 20 or 30 programs. As time goes on, it's important that you start having conversation with your friends and families about programs, about your qualifications, see if you even qualify to get into that school, what their requirements are, and talking to your family about if that is a suitable choice for you. Okay, so you're going into My Schools to browse the directory. So next couple slides, we're just going to show you a little bit more of what that looks like and how you can start your search process. So your My Schools is your online directory and application. Right now, for your purposes in the 7th grade, it's just for you to browse. So you're going to go into myschools.nyc. You get to choose your language. As you can see from the top drop down where it says English, if you need to change that, there's multiple language that the directory comes in. To view the searchable online directory, you go to myschools.nyc and you scroll all the way down to the bottom where it says start browsing, and you can start browsing. So you can use the search box. You put in your address, and what will come up are the schools that are closest to your house. Now, that's important because we have to be mindful of where we're applying to and how far it is from our home. You have to think about what buses, what trains, and if that's okay for you and your family to be commuting over that type of transportation, what your family's expectations are for you. That's how we're narrowing down those 20 to 30 choices to more down to 12 suitable choices for you. Okay, there's some more filters. So what subway line, maybe you live next to the 3 train, you might want to select that so that way you don't have to go that far. by size of the school. Some people do really good in a smaller school. Those are things for you and your family to consider. Sports, it's a big thing for high school. If you play a sport, you might want to find a school that suits your interest. And some other filters, different boroughs, schools just for boys, schools just for girls. Okay, so you could search that when you're on My Schools without creating an account. And remember, you're picking about 20 to 30 programs of your choice. So this is once you select a school. So for example, if we selected FDR High School, you get to see their location, the size and schedule, how well the school does, the academics, the activities, some other features. And remember, earlier in the presentation, we spoke a little bit about accessibility. So types of schools to consider. There's visual and performing arts. Those are your more, schools that are tailored more toward the dramatic arts, the visual arts, the dancing, the vocal. Then you have your CTE schools, career and technical education schools. You have your schools like we spoke about earlier, schools for newly arrived students who are learning English, your performance assessment schools, early colleges, schools with grades 9 to 14, and then your community schools. So you learn about the different programs once you select the school. Okay, they'll have the programs that they offer on in their campus. So if we were looking at FDR earlier and we selected their programs, you'll see that they offer all these programs. The dual Chinese language might be offered just to those students who are learning the English language, but had come from China. And as you scroll down, you'll see they have other options. They have a bunch of STEAM options. They have a theater option. And then they have a zoned program. Zoned programs are just for kids who live in that immediate area and will automatically get in just by where they live. Okay, so here's a little bit more. So the program name. So once you click on the program, if that interests you, STEAM and Environmental Studies, you could see what their eligibility and what they look for in their admission. So it's a little bit more specific as to what we spoke about regarding the number of seats for general education students and students with disabilities. Another important thing to look for is the priority group. In this school, they give priority to all Brooklyn students. And then, so if you're applying in Brooklyn and you wanted to go to the school, you would get first priority. Then, if you were applying from Manhattan to a Brooklyn school, you would get the second priority. Here's what you need to know for you to be considered to admissions, okay? There are certain programs where they do see your academic record and other programs where they do not. Programs where they do not see your school record are schools that are open, screened for your language. That means they're only looking for your language. Schools that are zoned, that means they're only looking to see where you live and if you take the specialized high school test. Now, in the schools under the blue is programs that do see your record. The programs that look for your record are screen schools, audition schools, and schools that are ed-opt. Ed-opt looks a little bit more into the how well you did on the New York State assessments, that's your ELA and your math test. Programs with screened and audition admission methods. So school staff evaluates and rank application for admission. Selection criteria show the information used to evaluate applicants for the admission. The ranges show how students compares to other applicants. So pretty much, what does this mean altogether? So you're applying to a screen school and you want to be competitive. So this school is looking for anyone between a 90 and 100 with test scores between the 3.3 and the 4.5. And then they want a portfolio of student work. You would have to rank on the higher end. So let's say the school is having 50 seats open, right? They're going to look for the top 50 students who listed them high on their application and meet that criteria. They're going to take the top ends of whoever's applying to that school with the highest grades. This is why, friends, it's important for you in the 7th grade to make sure those grades are really high. We want you to be competitive and get into the school of your choice. What makes a balanced application? So, like we were just discussing, there's a bunch of different types of schools. There's schools that look for your there's schools that are screened, schools that are open, schools that are variety. So we want you to have different types of schools, some screened schools, some open schools, some ed op schools, and make sure you have 12 different programs, not just the programs that everyone wants to get into. And the mixed admissions method is a little bit of what I was talking to you about. Some screened, some open, some ed opt, some audition schools, and make sure you're in the first priority group for those programs. That makes you super competitive. We want to make sure that the schools you're are applying to are suitable for you. And this is for the moms and the dads. Only apply and think about the programs that you want your child to attend to. It's super important. There'll be times where you'll just put whatever you want on the application, and then in March, when the results come back, it's, I didn't want that school, but you had listed it on your application. So the admissions team for the DOE works really hard to get you what you want and that you put on your application. So please make sure to only put where you want your child to go. Program choices on the application. 98% of students who listed 12 programs received an offer to a choice on their application. Listing 12 programs mean you'll have a better chance of getting an offer from one of your choices. So fill it up. Remember, you're not applying just to the school, you're applying to the programs. Each school can have more than one program. The more programs, the more chance of you'll be happy with your end result in March. Okay, now listing the order of your true preference, okay, what you really want. So the high schools can't see the order of how you list them. So that's not something you should concern yourself with. Oh, I didn't put, Midwood as my number 1 choice. I put it as number 3 because I really rather go to Brooklyn College Academy. That's fine. Midwood will not see the order in which you list them. Okay. Students are considered for offers in the order of programs on their application. If you don't get into your first choice, then you're considered for your next choice. So let's say you don't get into Brooklyn College Academy, and Midwood would look at you as if they're your number 1 choice. And then what happens is then you get waitlisted for Brooklyn College Academy. So remember, this is just a reminder that for all New York City high school applications, you get 1 offer in March. You're not getting more than 1. March is, the time that says you put the 12 programs, this is the one you got into. And for specialized high schools, you take the specialized high school test. Let's say you pass, you get 1 offer for that as well. It becomes a little bit different when you audition for LaGuardia and you get into more than one program at LaGuardia. So let's say you did vocal and instrumental music and you passed both of those auditions, you can get an offer for both of those, and then you'd have to choose which one you pick. So the next step, spring and summer. Start exploring schools and programs and find 20 to 30 programs that interest you. A really important thing for you to do is look at the high school event calendar, and it can be downloaded to your device. It's really cool. You get the notifications on your phone of when these open houses will be happening, and that can be downloaded to your device as well. In the early fall, you'll start your high school application. You'll be getting information from myself, and you'll start attending events. So you'll look for virtual open houses. You can visit high school websites for more information, what their requirements are. You get to go to high school fairs, and each borough has their own fairs. So late fall of 2021, what you'll be doing is you'll take your Shazat, you'll complete any of the auditions that you're interested in, and late fall, you will submit your child's high school application. Here are just some more resources. If you need to connect with someone, my information is listed at the bottom. Here's a few more resources for you to take a picture of. And that concludes our presentation for 7th grade high school admissions and what that means for you. And we hope you find this information useful and will help you prepare for what to look forward to for the rest of the school year and for the 8th grade. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Ms. Oliveri, for that information. Again, families, we still have a lot of questions about the process. The city has not opened the portal, the My Schools portal, that students is usually open at this point. They have not set the December deadline for the process like they normally do, so that's still up in the air. The SHSAT assessment that is normally scheduled for the beginning of November has also been canceled for the time being. They haven't rescheduled that yet. So as soon as we have any information about changes to the process, we will be sure to let you know. Students, in the meantime, the best thing that you can do is make sure that you are present every single day in school, that your attendance rates stay high, whether you're in 8th grade or 7th grade or 6th grade for that matter, and that you are earning the grades that you need to earn by completing your weekly portfolio task. That's the best we can ask of you right now, is to make sure that you are doing everything that you can to maintain your academic standing. And then the high school application process will be the same for everyone in the city, and so everyone's in the same boat. Again, we'll provide you with more information on that as soon as we have it. In the meantime, thank you for watching today. I hope everyone has a safe and happy Halloween. If you need some tips for how to stay safe and go trick-or-treating, you can find those on our website from a DOE letter. Other than that, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.